Welcome to Mood Whiplash music! Yeah, that is, this music is just, I love this song, but seriously, game, did you have to play this song now? Really? 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 You just had to do that, didn't you? It's almost as bad, not quite as bad, as the Colony 6 theme playing right after the Mechonis Core event in Xenoblade Chronicles. That's a lot worse, but this is pretty bad. Yeah, a student just died and you're all like, oh, it sucks they cancelled the Culture Festival. Yes we do. You know what? Nobody here cares. No one here cares at all. I'm not going to try and get an emotional response out of these people. And speaking of, not caring, today is still a normal day, which means we have to do a social link today after all that. And, oh yeah, he's still giving the random exam spiel. And it is even worse than that. This is a social link day where the guide is wrong. And if you get it wrong here, then you've got to completely redo the fight and all of those events. Actually, not really, because I'll explain that in a bit, but it is a bit of a slap in the face that the one time, and I picked the wrong station, that the one time where the guide is wrong as to what options to select is right after that. Yeah. Why did it have to be now? Anyway, sorry, that ran out of the way. I'll just discuss this. Today, we are seeing... We just fought a battle here before. Today, we are seeing Mamoru for the first time in a while. So, I'll explain how the guide is wrong once we get into this. Yeah, let's go and have some food after, you know, that happened. I really wish this was a pure plot day and no social links happened, but seems the developers didn't agree. Oh wow, and we're going to Hagakure as well. Seriously, you couldn't rub it in even more. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, cool, huh? He's probably weirded out by the fact that... I'm guessing that my headcanon is that even Gary Stu is sad after what happened. My headcanon is that he's actually, like... He's actually crying and then thinking, why am I so sad? Anyway, sponsorship stuff. So, this one. The guide has the wrong thing listed here. I think this rank up was changed from vanilla Persona 3 to FES. The one to say here that gives the most points is no pressure, huh? However, you don't actually need to worry about this that much. You'll see why for the second option. This is why. So the guide is correct about this one. The best thing to say is myself, really. Well, yeah, Persona 4 agrees with you there as well. So, here's why the incorrect first option doesn't actually matter as much. Because you only need 1 point to rank this up to 3. And as long as you say myself really for the second one, you get 15 points or 22 with Imagine Persona. That's way more than enough. So it's actually not that bad. You probably won't have to reload a save here. Well, I would suggest Kaz, but he needs to get his knee fixed first. Oh yeah, I've already maxed out the amount of effort we can put into the Kendo team, so yeah, no need to do that. And so, after a really long time, we've ranked up the Star Arcana. The section in between this full moon and the next is gonna be a lot of ranking up some of the ones we've neglected for a while. And because of that, we're not going to be maxing very many links this run. We're only going to be maxing one before the next full moon. And it's not Star, as much as it would be really awesome if it was, because the ultimate Star is amazing. Okay, so I'm going to cut here, because I felt this would be far too much of a mood whiplash if this happened in between the Dorm event and all that other stuff that happened in the last part. This is going to be in the part after the aftermath of Shinjiro's death, so I'll be cutting away here to the next moment where we're back to regular social link scheduling. So I'll see you back there. Nothing much to do in the evening, I guess. Already checked the TV, everything, so yeah, let's just go back to the room. And yes, one of the few times we'll see the tired message now, thanks to the fact that we can rest every night without penalty. So, life goes on. Which means social links go on. We're going to be seeing Star again today, although I think it might take a backseat for a little while after that. There's about a week or so of this music is still really whiplashy. Well, yeah, that could easily apply to the game's actual plot rather than just school. So, yeah. Because exams are coming up, the vast majority of school social links aren't available. I don't even know why I exited the room there. Do you have anything new to say? Yep, same thing. Do you have anything new to say? Oh. They didn't know him, though. Can't really blame them for that. Now, what I really wanted to do was talk to this guy, because he still goes to that blah 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 Mitsuru waifu blah 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 message that he does every time it's almost exams. Yeah, that is the game's way of heavily hammering it in what you need to do in order to start that social link. It is pretty important, because if you're going for a max social link playthrough, that one is permanently missable if you don't get the top score in at least one exam by the time that, well, I mean, there's only a limited number of exams in the game, so this is the one that we will be getting the top score in, hopefully. But anyway, today we'll be seeing Mamoru, and the max social link guide is not wrong this time, but it couldn't really be, since both options you can say anything this time. They do still give a bit of points, though. Apparently the max social links guide is also kind of wrong about the first day when you need a matching persona for this link. Apparently you need it for rank 4, when the guide doesn't actually say that. But this is only rank 3, so that doesn't really matter. Hitting defaults, taking our mind off of things. Huh, who's them? Okay, we're finding a bit more about him. Either of those is fine. Well, at this point, we're pretty much used to people whose parents have passed away. It's kind of become the norm. Well, that's a pretty disturbing way for it to happen, though. And so, rank 3 of the Star Arcana. And the next few days, we will be doing stuff that is decidedly not Star Arcana. We'll actually be seeing an earlier social link that we haven't seen for quite a while. However, I'm pretty sure that there are going to be plot events tonight. So, in the midst of all this Star Social Link, we have some more serious things. Firstly, though, Elizabeth is giving this usual call to inform us of a change in Tartarus. Okay, so yeah, you'd think that we'd be ready to go back into Tartarus pretty soon if she's giving this. It's kind of weird. I feel like despite the fact that that full moon, well, that happened during that full moon, this seems to be one of the earliest times she's giving this call after a full moon. She expects us to be back into the action pretty quickly. Not sure she knows quite what happened. However, we're not going to be going back into the dorm just yet.
You look half dead. What are you doing here?
When Mom died protecting me, no one would believe the real reason for her death. To this day, it's still on file as an unexplained accident. That's why I wanted to make it clear. I thought that's what she would have wanted. Maybe then she'd finally be at peace. They said he died by some violent crime, right? No one knows the truth, just like with Mom. And once again, I'll be left behind.
The dead are never coming back. You have to accept that. You're on your own now. I'm not here to drag you back. You can stay in this place until you die if that's what you want. But if you still have the will to fight, then come back and stand on your own 2 feet.
He's right. I've known it all along. I've just been lying to myself. I was consumed by hatred. I couldn't face the thought of being alone. But that's exactly what happened. All this time, I've just been running away. I made up my mind. Shinjiro-san, I'll see it through to the end.
By letting go of his hatred, Ken gains his ultimate persona, Kala Nemi. And if you're wondering why Ken's skill set was disproportionately small earlier, this is why. The vast majority of his skills come from his upgraded persona. Like all upgraded personas, it exchanges its original resistance for an immunity, in this case an immunity to light, which is an instant death element, which is pretty nice to have. Unfortunately still keeps its weakness to another instant death element though. So Ken still needs to stay away from dark users. Once again, Ken's skill set is a little bit all over the place and tries to do a bit too many things, but I still feel he's a lot more useful than most players give him credit for. In this state, he'll eventually learn Hammer Boost, which makes his light magic a lot less of a waste of a turn, and actually gives it fairly decent odds of success against enemies not weak to it, which sometimes can be really useful. He also learns Spear Master, being one of the very few party members to get a Weapon Master skill, which will double the damage of his basic attacks. And also regarding pierce damage, he'll upgrade Cruel Attack to Vile Assault, which is basically the same thing but better. In the PSP version, Kalanemi learns Primal Force, the ultimate pierce attack in the game. He sadly doesn't get that in this version though. He has Zeodyne, so he's still capable of magical attacking when he needs to, but the best skills here are Diarahan, Samarakam, and Mediarahan. These skills make Ken, as I've hinted at before, the second best healer in the party next to Yukari. And like I've said before, while that may not sound like a compliment at first, there are times when you don't want to use Yukari. And in those times, Ken is the best healer to pick. There are also, like I've hinted at before, several bosses that are actually made a lot easier by Ken's very specific skill sets. There are still more of these to come. I actually considered the sleeping table earlier in the game to be one of these bosses. In fact, in some ways, I feel like part of the reason why so many people have trouble with the sleeping table is that they simply refuse to use Ken, not realizing that he's actually quite good for that fight. So, Ken is the only party member besides Yukari to get Mediarahan, which is a full heal on the entire party. He's also one of only 3 party members, another one of them being Yukari, to get Samarakam, the full revival spell. So in general, Ken's healing abilities are not to be underestimated. When you need a healer and you're up against enemies that hit Yukari's weakness, Ken is your best option. Of course, that's when he actually learns those skills, and they are right at the end of his learn set, so you'll have to stick with him quite a bit before he becomes more useful. One thing that a lot of people do say about Ken negatively is that he doesn't learn multi-targeting light spells. Koromaru gets Mamudo and Mamudo on, Ken only gets Hammer on as his method of light attacks, which can be kind of a problem, but very often you don't really need to use it against more than one enemy at a time, and the multi-targeting light and dark spells, they suffer heavily in the accuracy department in this game. In a lot of cases, it's actually better to use single targets. For its mythology, Kalanemi is based off of a pre-Vedic, that's early Indian, spirit of the stars, who represents the wheel of time and a connecting of the past and the future. This naturally plays into Ken letting go of the past and having his future ahead of him. Also, I think by now you realize the very obvious symbolism in Ken's original persona Nemesis, being an agent of divine retribution, which, represents his desire to inflict that retribution on Shinjiro. And it's pretty obvious symbolism that now he's getting rid of that persona and replacing it with a new one. Obsession with the past plays into the symbolism of Shinjiro's arcana, the Hierophant. So in this case, having a persona that represents the unification of the past and future also links into Ken moving on.
I'll be okay now, Mom. Goodbye.
It's already been a day.
Yes, it has.
So, where's Akihiko-san?
He said to leave Ken-kun alone, but I don't know. Maybe we should look for him.
What's your opinion?
I can't wait any longer. I'm going right now to... Oh, Ken-kun! Oh, thank goodness. I was so worried.
You were?
Amada, are you able to fight?
Yes. I won't run off again.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
It's all right. We can trust him. Geez, don't make us worry like that, okay?
All right. I'll talk to the chairman. Get some rest.
In some ways, getting Elizabeth's message then kinda spoiled that Ken would be coming back, because, hey, they wouldn't let us go into Tartarus with one of our party members still having an existential crisis. So, if we talk to all of our party members tonight, we get a little bit of more insight into how all of them are dealing with the events that have transpired recently. Except for Igus, who's more concerned with the logical fact that 2 personas have upgraded out of this, and there might be more to come. So, yeah, I haven't quite addressed the elephant in the living room yet. Most party members, well, apart from Shinjiro and for some reason Koromaru, most party members get an upgrade to their original persona, which has new skills and an upgrade to its resistances. These upgrades all occur at various points in the story. And so far we've had 2 of them, with obviously more to come. What else is on the news now? Yes, because of the freaking moon. Why haven't you realized yet? Oh yes, you Yeah, pin down a clear date. Yeah, of course. You're only like, what, many bazillion months behind? So what's Junpei got to say about this? Yeah, Ken did get over that pretty quickly, although, then again, he was pretty deeply affected by what happened. It was a pretty big wake-up call for him. Speaking of which, hi there, Ken. How you doing? See, it's lines like that. The fandom just tends to completely ignore Ken's remorse and just treat him as an evil psychopath who deserves to die. I'll be talking about that a bit later. This too is understandable. In fact, this actually plays into Ken's personal story arc in Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, which is actually really good. Kind of recommend people watch that. Well, I mean, it's contained within the greater P3 story of that game. Now, even though Yukari and Fuka are up on the 3rd floor, which is actually kind of rare, we can't go to Tartarus tonight. But I am going to go to Elizabeth and see what requests she has available. The main reason being, there's a request we can quickly take care of tomorrow. We'll actually be in the area for that quest anyway, so it'll be more productive to accept it now so we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So I'm going to head down to the Velvet Room to Elizabeth. Yeah, Akihiko still isn't back. That's part of why we can't really go to Tartarus. Just thought that I could maybe check what kinds of weapon fusions that I can make at this point as well. There's probably going to be some new accessories available in B Blue V. Maybe or not, I don't really know. They tend to update their stock pretty infrequently. It is based on your level, but there are some pretty big gaps between the levels at which they sell various things. Plus, a lot of the hard items from Ultimate Personas are much better than any accessory you'll ever buy there. So, naturally, since Elizabeth called us to explain a change in Tartarus, also I'm going to register these two personas here, we have new requests available. So, yeah. No sooner did we complete this one, we have yet another one of these katana requests, of course. I actually forgot about this one earlier, I was probably mentally blocking it. Normally there's only one katana request per block, as you can see there. So we had the Juzumara from Thebel, we had one from Yabasha, we didn't even get one for the second area, and then we have two from Tzia. So don't know why there are two of them here, but Wand of King is kind of nice. But yes, another one of those. And then we have this request. Urgh. This request. I've mentioned that helmet earlier on in this playthrough. It's because I hate this request with a gigantic passion. Yeah, this request is just... It's not difficult, it's just really annoying. And it's very easy to just forget one of the steps for it and have to... It's annoying, let's just say. I'm not going to accept this now. You need basically one full interrupted week in order to do this side quest most productively, and we're going to be hitting exams soon. So, yeah, no, not doing that. Now, I'm thinking of completing this request quite soon. We're at the level to fuse Thor, and I think now's a good time to bring in the God of Thunder. I can also do this reasonably soon. I forget if Daisoljo is level 53 or 54. It's one of those two. So we have a request to retrieve the 7th old document. 2 red armor plates, 3 gold rings. So yeah, from enemies in the area. And yeah, looks like our purple shadows are tanks this time, which is kind of scary. But this request is the one that I'm actually looking for. I'd like to try sushi. I just want to check if there's anything else. It doesn't look like there's much else left. Okay, so this one. I'd like to try sushi. When I first saw this, I actually freaked out because I thought this would be more trouble than it actually is. This is quite an important request because the item that you get out of it, the scrub brush, which is actually Ken's joke weapon, is required to finish another request. So for now, I'm going to leave Fusion until we actually go to Tartarus, which I think will be tomorrow. Because that's really the earliest time we can get back in there, and I kind of want to get back there. There's a few fusions that I want to do, and I want to get back into doing some of those Elizabeth requests, get back to fighting enemies. Really, there's quite a lot that I'd like to do there. Oh, right. I totally forgot that what that even was. A lot of power with charm resist. Okay, that's nice. Look at all these Nile weapons too, by the way. All of these, well, most of these, I found while I was trying to get the Nikazuchi Minichika. So let's see what we can make in terms of Nile longswords. I think I already had this same... What do you make? Plus 40 HP. Oh, that's pretty decent. Nope. Poison resist. Resist ice. Plus... Oh, okay then. Huh. That's actually kind of interesting. So, Black Frost makes a kind of like a joke weapon. I actually didn't realize Black Frost had such a unique weapon fusion. I didn't know... Like, it's not a unique weapon, but it gives only 1 attack power, but plus 10 magic is huge. To put that in perspective, the ultimate weapons, as in the absolute strongest weapons of each type in the game, are distinguished by the fact they give plus 10 to all stats. So, plus 10 to 1 stat at this point in the game is actually not bad. For pure spellcasters who aren't going to be doing much physical attacking, that's not a bad weapon to have, actually. I mean, a basic bow on Yukari, for example, she really only uses her bow attacks to knock down things weak to pierce. The actual power of her attacks doesn't matter very much. So, that'd actually be pretty cool. Anyway, I don't even have a Nile bow, though, which is the problem. actually wasn't aware of that thing about Black Frost, so I'm kind of glad that I did that now that I think about it. I'm actually going to quickly... There are apathy syndrome people here already. That is a bad sign. That's a very bad sign. We only just got done with a full moon and there are more apathy syndrome people. That is really not good. Looks like the next shadow, considering that it's the last, is going to be really strong. So, I want to see if you've changed your fortune now that we've had a disaster happen in our future. So, yeah, obviously referring to Shinjiro's death. So, yes, this is indeed pretty much the turning point of the game. Most RPGs have at least one point in the plot where things suddenly just take a massive downturn for much darker, but they also plant the... I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, that sounds incredibly cheesy, but like the seeds of hope in the party as well. Basically the point where things start getting really serious. You know what, while I'm out I may as well use the arcade. Kind of useless just going back to the dorm. I actually forget what the arcade is on Tuesdays. Molewag. Okay, that's agility. We haven't actually done that one before. Let's see who would benefit from agility here. A lot of things with just 30 agility. Like, I would boost Okuninushi, but I get the feeling we're actually going to be getting rid of him soonish. Fire Boost and Fire Break is... I mean, it's a very good persona. I actually really like Okuninushi, but I currently have it equipped anyway. But once we get Cert and Thor, they pretty much do the same things that it's doing. So, time to see this message for the first time. Anyway, considering that agility affects accuracy as well as evasion in this game, it's a pretty good stat to raise up. Especially seeing as that you can fall over if your accuracy isn't high enough. Oh no. Oh no, not again. Well, seeing as most Dark Hour things have happened already, I think we can know who this is.
Hello.
Hello.
It's cold tonight. Can you believe it's already autumn? It'll be winter before you know it.
You could say that we're currently falling down, and soon it will be our winter of rebirth.
You seem tired. Did something happen?
Oh, you know, nothing much. Just, you know, a close friend of us died. Not that you know anything about that.
Is that so? In this world, people die every day. Until recently, this was the same to me as the blowing of the wind. But now I see things differently. For the first time, I have a friend. Lately, I've become more certain of something. You know the end I've spoken of? Some people refer to it as the fall. But regardless, it's drawing near. Don't you sense it? We are kindred spirits, you and I. So why is it that only I can remember? This is a heart-rending matter. Is my existence something you are unable to accept?
Look, I'm sorry I called you creepy all of those times. Just have a habit of just suddenly popping up and...
Forgive me if I have said anything peculiar today. Perhaps it is the change of seasons.
And he's going right back to his old self.
Of course, our friendship remains steadfast. Well, I shall bid you farewell for now. Good night.
It seems like that would make me feel bad about insulting him all the time. I mean, I guess he's not really being creepy on purpose. And just that line, though, it's just, it does kind of hurt to all people who've been creeped out by this guy. It's just like, no, wait, I'm sorry I said all that. But yes, that increases the Death Arcana to rank 8. It's definitely getting up there. Several of our plot-based social links are almost maxed out. I wonder what that means. And so we proceed to the 7th. I did accept the sushi request, didn't I? I mean, I can always just go and accept it today anyway. Well, let's see. Okay, so here's something about this line right here. This line here. When I saw this, I was like, oh, they've got to be referencing The World Ends With You there. They have to be. But I checked. In Japan, The World Ends With You came out after Persona 3 did. And then I was like, oh, okay then. So, obviously, they added this in the localization then, right? Well, actually, the English version of Persona 3 came out before the English version of The World Ends With You. So, this is totally unintentional, and not a reference to The World Ends With You at all. Amazing. That, however, is a reference. Hello, fourth wall breaking students. So, I like to justify that as she plays Innocent Sin online, because that probably has those tiers of spells, considering that it has Triesto. So yes, it could possibly not be a fourth wall break. Yeah, we've had a terrible personal tragedy and now, oh, exams are starting again. Uh-oh. So at first I was like, okay, is that to... I actually kind of forget what that is. I know that I learned about that in Japanese class, but I'm kind of forget what that is. So, sudden change of topic. This one I pretty much can answer, although the weird thing is, something tells me that to hide the blood is also kind of plausible. I mean, that might be a myth as well. I know that to excite the bull is a myth, and she'll explain why after we say to excite the audience. So yeah, bulls are colorblind, and it's actually, like she says, the fluttering of the capote that excites them. You know what's really awesome? Ace Attorney Investigations 2 actually mentions this in an optional examine conversation, and then points out how a bull would charge an Edgeworth because of his cravat, which is amazing. Yeah, I've actually seen a lot of studies on, like, universal human symbols, like the fact that in most cultures you can make stop signs red and go signs green, and people will universally accept that regardless of where they're from. Like, it seems like humans are universally conditioned into thinking that red means danger, or like something dramatic or exciting, whereas green is like safe or good, or blue. In the case of Japan, blue and green are essentially the same thing culturally. Which is why they sometimes refer to the green traffic light as blue. In fact, they usually refer to it as blue. So, we're going to the shrine today, and I hope that I accepted the sushi request. So, remember how I said that I was kind of freaked out before about the shrine? Well, the quest to get sushi. Okay, good, I actually did accept that. So, the Inari sushi at the shrine is right here. Normally, using this facility uses up the day, and that would mean that I would not be able to finish this side quest until we got a completely social link free day, which are very rare in this guide. We do get them later on in the game, but not until very close to the end. However, thankfully, this request does not take up a day, as long as you simply examine the Inari sushi. And I think you need max academics as well. This old lady shows up. Well, yeah, of course something happened. And so, we get some Inari sushi for free. Well, I mean, that was pretty kind of her. So, yeah, normally this right here, this will use up the day, and it will cause a bunch of random events to happen. You can get things like increasing chance of fusion accidents, increasing, like, getting more money and various other things. But, yeah, we'll turn that into Elizabeth the next chance we get. For now, though, reason I accepted that is because it's in the shrine. We're going to be seeing Michael today, so yeah. We would have been here anyway. It's been a while, and we have a Hangman persona. Make sure that you do have a Hangman persona for this. Definitely make sure you do. So get one out of the Velvet Room if you haven't. And it's just to spend time. Don't worry, that's totally intentional. Tomorrow we'll be getting another rank up. In fact, tomorrow's rank up for this Arcana is actually kind of interesting, let's just say.
Hi, how
No,
was
I
your
just
day?
noticed Pun Man in the corner of my eye there. What do you have to say about recent events? You knew about it, but you didn't say anything. Huh. Yeah, this is how I've always seen Shinjiro's sacrifice. And, well, at this point, I'm not sure if Gary Stu could go through with something like that. I like these sequences here because you get to see what every party member's reaction to this is. Everyone does deal with grief very differently. I will say though, admitting that you're not that strong is in some ways strong in its own right. That's pretty understandable. Just, again, I like all the different reactions to it that you've seen. Ken seems alright. Koromaru's actually okay with this. And then there's Akihiko right here. In a lot of ways, I kind of understand where Akihiko is coming from. That thing that he said in a way about why the long faces, he died satisfied. That's pretty much exactly how I felt about recently as of recording this video, my grandmother passed away. It's pretty much exactly how I reacted to it. I just felt like, you know, why waste time being sad when she was totally okay with it, she knew it was coming, she'd accepted it, she'd made her peace with everyone, she was happy. I just feel like in that situation, why, you know, why waste time being sad? It's how she wanted it to be. And in this case, it's true too. Shinjiro would not have wanted it any other way. He was just totally determined. He went out the way that he wanted to. He saved a life by doing it, and yeah. I totally understand where Akihiko's coming from, respecting that. But I also understand where everyone else is coming from, just, you know, not really being able to go on their regular lives after something like that happened. Like, I mean, it is different losing a grandparent who, at that age, you know is going to die anyway at some point. And the difference between that and losing someone close to your age is much, much more drastic. Yeah. The closest I've ever come to having something like that happen to me is in high school. There was the whole school called an assembly because a boy at the school, I think about a year below me, had passed away from cancer, but that's really the closest I've had to this situation myself. Sorry if this is going into pretty depressing territory, but kind of comes with the nature of certain things that get discussed in this game, and I just like to bring my own input into situations like this. So anyway, I'm pretty sure, going to go to Tartarus tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and save now, and I will see you there.